Hi everybody, welcome back to the Bolt Hole Biker. Why am I standing so close to the camera, you might ask? What am I trying to hide? What is that behind me? It's this. It's finally arrived. The day has come. Electric bike in my garage. And I'm quite excited. This is the very bike that I test rode about 4 months ago. It was the demonstrator bike of the shop that I bought it from, which was Not Your Average Bikes in Ossett near Leeds, and I can highly recommend them. They've been absolutely fantastic with me, and I can say with 100% conviction that it looked good in the showroom. It did look good there, and it really blew me away. It looks much better in my garage. If you're a regular watcher of this channel, then you'll know why this bike is here. But if you're not, then I'll give you a little bit of background. About 4 months ago, I became aware of and read up about this Energica Eva Ribelle bike, and I thought to myself, that looks like the one. That looks like the bike that could actually be the game changer. The one that makes it actually feasible to have an electric bike that you can use properly and will fit into your riding life. So I decided to go and have a test ride, and I was a little bit blown away by it. I kind of slightly fell in love with it instantly, and have gone way out of my way to try and get one in my garage. Now, to do that, I've had to trade in two of my favourite bikes, a KTM Duke 790 and a Triumph Thruxton R, a super pretty Triumph Thruxton R, because electric bikes are not cheap at the moment. And the reason I've done it, or one of the reasons I've done it, is that I want to try and give the watchers of this channel a first-hand account of the actual ownership experience of having an electric bike. So this is completely new to me. I don't know whether it's going to end up living up to my expectations or whether it's going to disappoint me, what the problems along the way are going to be, the obvious one being range anxiety, turning up at charging stations and them not working, and then what do, etc, etc. But maybe some of the less obvious ones that I don't even know about yet. Electric bikes, whether we like it or not, are going to become part of our riding DNA over the next 10 years or so. And I do realise that at this stage they're still relatively early in their development, but I think that this bike represents the point in the development where they become genuinely usable. This bike is awesome fast, like hyper naked fast. It's classed as a hyper naked, this bike. It's the acceleration equivalent of a KTM Super Duke 1290. That's the sort of performance you get from it. It looks to me in the same sort of design category as a Ducati Street Fighter. It's got that beautiful Italian styling. It really is a sexy bike, there's no doubt about that. But how much did it cost to buy? How much does it cost to own? How much does it cost to fill it up? How long does the charge last? What's the reaction from other bikers and people that aren't bikers when you're out? Because it sounds amazing. It's a completely different sound on the road. So over the videos that I make about this bike, I'm going to try and give you a real feel of what the ownership experience is of having an electric bike in the UK in 2022. Over the course of the videos that I'm going to be making with this bike, I want to give you a really comprehensive idea of what electric bike ownership is like. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty of videos with loads of good stuff in and the awesome acceleration, etc. But I want to start right at the beginning, and that is buying the bike in the first place and insuring it. Because there's one thing that can't be hidden away from, and that is that electric bikes at the moment are incredibly expensive, and that can't really be shied away from. At this stage in the development, if you are going to own an electric bike, you just have to accept that you are paying for the research and development of future electric bikes. It's like when a new TV comes out, or a new TV format, they sell them for £2,000, and then 6 months later you can buy them for 200 quid. It's, at the moment, we're in the £2,000 development stage, and you kind of have to really want one. I did really want one. But the actual initial purchase price of electric bikes is not cheap at the moment. Now, that should hopefully be offset by things like fuel costs, etc. over time. Because whereas at the moment it might cost 15, 20 quid to put a tank of fuel in a bike, to charge the electric bike, if you're doing it at home, which I'll be charging this bike here most of the time overnight, it's going to cost me pennies. And even if it's being charged at the sort of public charging stations, it's going to be a lot cheaper than fuel. So in that respect you have to take a bit of a longer term view on it, but if you want to go and buy it, to take it from the dealership costs a lot of money. Hence the fact that I've bought the ex-demonstrator bike, because even chopping in 2 bikes, I couldn't afford to buy a brand new one. And then following on from that, and this really took me by surprise, in fact it was like being punched in the gut, the insurance for them at the moment, and again I think this will come down in time, but at the moment insurance companies are petrified of them. There haven't been enough electric bikes around for them to know how to insure it properly. The underwriters just see electric motorbike and absolutely shit themselves. When I went to get insurance on this bike the other day before it was delivered, I initially had a bit of trouble with my insurers. I won't name the insurers, but they're a bike specific insurer in the UK, and I've got a multi-bike policy with them, and I actually had to change. I stayed with the same broker, but I actually had to change insurance provider because there were only 3 providers that would insure an electric motorbike. And I feel like I'm a fairly low risk. I'm 49 years old, I haven't had any accidents, no convictions, anything like that. I live in a relatively low crime area. The bike's garaged, it's locked up in the garage overnight. You know, I don't feel like I'm a high insurance risk. But just to give you an example of the cost of insuring this bike, when I initially got the policy that I have now, it had the KTM Duke and the Thruxton R on it, and it's a high level of insurance. I have fully comprehensive insurance, breakdown cover, excess protection, etc, etc. So it's kind of insured up to the highest level, but it was costing me £250. That was for the multi-bike policy that had the 2 bikes on it. Then I bought the Ducati Multistrada, which, I get it, it's a high value bike, it's a premium bike. That put it up to about £500, which even that choked me a bit, it doubled it. I mean, I'm still the same person just riding one bike, but anyway, I kind of accepted that. When I went to insure this bike the other day, it added a premium. This isn't what the premium became, this is what it became. In addition, it added another £652 to my policy. I mean, I literally, I couldn't believe it when the lady on the end of the phone told me. I mean, she was even apologetic as she was telling me. So my insurance now, the multi-bike policy, which now only has the Ducati Multistrada and the Energica on it, is over 1,100 quid. Which did smart a little bit. So if you are thinking of owning an electric bike, just bear that in mind. Once it's in your garage and it's insured, you've got all the loveliness to come. Getting it there is a little bit painful. The initial purchase price is high and the insurance cost is bonkers at the moment. In time those things will come down, but at the moment, in 2022, they sting a little bit. Anyway, hopefully that's the only negative thing I'm going to have to say about this bike. I absolutely cannot wait to get out riding it and giving you an idea of what it's like to ride, what it's like to own, and how I get on with it. So stay tuned to the channel for those videos. They will be coming soon because I cannot wait to get on it. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching this video. I shall see you in the next one. Bye.